The Cult Awareness Network, or CAN, was founded 2 decades ago in the wake of the murders and mass suicides in Guyana that claimed the lives of 850 of the late Jim Jones followers. The concept was simple enough: set up a non-profit national organization to assist the desperate loved ones of people caught up in the ever-proliferating cult scene. The group known as CAN endures today, but a quarter century later, none of the people who began the Los Angeles chapter, or anyone who helped nurture the network, has anything to do with it. That's because whenever people call up CAN's hotline these days, the Church of Scientology answers the phone, and instead of warning people about suspected cults, opponents say, the new group promotes them. As one Scientology critic puts it, it's like Operation Rescue taking over Planned Parenthood. The story of how the controversial LA-based church, which Time magazine once termed the Cult of Greed, commandeered the anti-cult group that was its nemesis, is as bizarre as some of the late church founder L. Ron Hubbard's science fiction. It is also a cautionary tale for anyone who goes up against Scientology, with its penchant for harassing enemies in the courts and its reputation for retaliation against suppressives, those deemed as having ridiculed Scientology's teachings. Those teachings include Hubbard's decree that humans are made up of clusters of spirits called thetans, who were banished to the earth 75 million years ago by an evil galactic ruler named Xenu. L. Ron Hubbard was a pulp fiction writer who served a troubled stint in the Navy and hit it big in 1950 by coming up with the concept of Dianetics, which he dubbed a modern science of mental health. It remains at the core of Scientology practice. One of its staples is a simplified lie detector called an E-meter, which is supposed to measure electrical changes in the skin while subjects discuss the intimate details of their lives. L. Ron Hubbard claimed that unhappiness sprang from mental aberrations called engrams, and that counseling sessions with the E-meter could help rid them of these engrams. Scientologists refer to the extensive and very expensive process of clearing the mind in order for this to occur as auditing. But during the 1970s, the IRS did some audits of its own and accused Hubbard of skimming millions of dollars from the church, laundering it through dummy corporations, and stashing it in Swiss bank accounts. And although he died before the case was adjudicated, his wife and 10 other former church leaders went to prison in the early 1980s for infiltrating, burglarizing, and wiretapping dozens of private and government agencies in an attempt to block their investigations. An organized blizzard of lawsuits, topped off by a lawsuit brought on behalf of a young man named Jason Scott, produced judgments totaling $5.2 million and brought down the anti-cult group into financial ruin. In 1996, the Cult Awareness Network's logo, furniture, and phone number were auctioned off at the order of a bankruptcy judge, and a Scientologist appeared out of nowhere to place the winning bid. But the ultimate indignity for the anti-cult crusaders occurred earlier in a Chicago courtroom. Having already vanquished, the Cult Awareness Network appropriated its name and moved from its offices from Illinois to within blocks of Scientology headquarters in Hollywood. Lawyers with ties to the church moved to take possession of 20 years' worth of the Cult Awareness Network's highly sensitive case files. Filling more than 150 boxes, the materials contained names, addresses, and detailed information on thousands of people who had turned to the Cult Awareness Network for help in rescuing their friends and relatives. The list of organizations targeted by the old Cult Awareness Network read like a who's who of fringe culture. Among them, the KKK, the Aryan Nations, dozens of obscure fundamentalist and evangelical Christian groups, the Church of Satan, the Unification Church of the Reverend Sun Myung Moon, followers of political extremist Lyndon LaRouche, and of course the Church of Scientology.